Okay, this is going to be part 3 of Chapter 4. We've just gone over demand. Now we'll go through supply. Supply curve is from the point of view of the producer, and with the producer, there's also a relationship between the price and the quantity. For the producer, however, they want to sell as much as possible at the highest possible price. So at a price of 50, they're not willing to sell, and the price is too low, maybe won't even cover their costs. At a price of $1, they're willing to sell 1. At a price of $1.50, willing to sell 2. $2 willing to sell 3. $2.50 willing to sell 4. $3 willing to sell 5. And so here is our supply curve. And that corresponds to the law of supply. Law of supply states that there is a direct positive relationship between the price and the quantity supplied. So this is not an inverse relationship as with demand, it is a positive relationship. So both variables are moving in the same direction, which makes perfect sense because the producer will only be willing to produce if he or she gets a higher price. Now, quantity supplied is the amount of a good that sellers are willing and able to sell at a given price. This is similar to quantity demand, in that quantity demand is the amount of a good that buyers are willing and able to buy at a given price. So it is a point on the graph corresponding to how much you want to buy or sell at a given price. Visually, here is the change in quantity supply. Price goes up. Seller is willing to sell more at that given price. It is a movement from point to point, add that point C there, point to point along that supply curve. It is not a shift as the entire line changes, it is a movement, just like demand. Market supply, again this is analogous to demand, refers to the sum of all individual suppliers, individual supplies for all sellers for a good or service. Graphically, individual supply curves are summed horizontally to obtain the market supply curve. Again, economists look at markets, not necessarily individuals. Okay, next slide is going to be price and non-price determinants of supply. Now we have market price, which is a price determinant. Now it's going to change a little bit because the things that influence supply are going to be quite a bit different than what influence demand. Input prices or resource costs, so the resources that go into providing a product, that's going to have an influence on supply. But it's not going to be the price of the product, it's going to be the price of the resources to make the product. So this is going to be a shift. Technology, the way and means that we use to make the product. Are we going to use an assembly line, or are we going to do it by hand? This is technology. Any increase in technology will most likely increase supply, shifting supply to the right. Taxes are what the government places on the product, and that will not be the change in the price. That will be what the government puts on. So this too is going to be a shift, usually a shift to the left. And finally, number of producers. If there are more producers, more supply. Less producers, less supply. Okay. Now we'll go to what the shifts look like. Like demand, an increase in supply is going to be a shift to the right. Decrease in supply is going to be a shift to the left. Okay, just like demand. Now we we review and just cover this a little bit. A change in price is going to be a movement along the supply curve, either up or down. If the price goes up, then quantity supplied will go up. If the price goes down, quantity supplied will go down. If there's a change in the resource cost, if there's more of the resource, you can produce more of the good, supply curve will shift to the right. If there's less of the resource, less of the good can be made available. Again, this is kind of like a recipe. If you're making chili, and if you have more beans in chili, because you can make more chili as a result. Supply curve shifts to the right. If you have more of the resource, shifts to the right. Less of the resource, shifts to the left. Technology. Better technology makes more of the product. Supply shifts to the right. Lesser technology, less of the product made. Supply shifts to the left. Taxes. If there's an increase in taxes on the product to the producer, supply shifts left. Decrease in taxes, producers can sell more, supply shifts right. Sales taxes would be examples of this. Hawaii has the general excise tax, example of this. Lots of examples of taxes. Number of sellers, if there's more sellers, more supply, shifts right. Less sellers, less supply, shifts left. And I believe this is going to end section 3 of